This is the Toshiba Rt-Sf5. In Asian markets such as Japan, it's often referred to as the Toshiba Sugar. This is a mini boombox from 1984. The unit includes many high features such as 10cm woofers and 2cm piezo tweeters. It also features full auto stop as well as auto reverse, although I wish that the auto reverse had the feature where when it's played the tape once it would just stop. It only has continuous auto reverse or manual auto reverse. On the side you'll find RCA jacks for line in and line out. The radio features AM, FM, shortwave 1 and shortwave 2. For the unit size, it really has nice sound, although the tone control on mine doesn't seem to be working. It does very little when you adjust it. One unique thing about this unit is that the cassette head and the pinch rollers are connected to the door instead of the main unit. If you're not a member of the Tilted Tripod Media Squad, then what are you waiting for? Head on over to patreon.com/tiltedtripodmedia. Link is on the screen and in the description box below. We've just launched a brand new product line, including mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and much more. So, what are you waiting for? Check it out today and become a member, and also gain exclusive access to early content and special member-only content, because the future of video is right here, right now, at Tilted Tripod Media. So let's get inside and see if we can get this thing back in working order. The first thing you'll need to do is remove all of these screws here on the back cover. And it's real easy, and once these screws are removed, you can just pop the cover off and gain access to all the insides. And make sure you open the battery compartment, because there is one screw inside there and you'll be frustrated trying to take it apart, going, why is this not coming off? Well, it's because of that one screw that's still left in there. The next thing you're going to want to do is pop off all the knobs. I started with the tuning dial, and you can take a pair of needle nose pliers and just pop off all the rest of the knobs. They come off real easy. Once you've removed all the screws in the back and the knobs, you can pop it open and see clearly inside, and wow, is that a lot of circuitry and wires. The next thing you're going to need to do in order to detach the speakers from the main body, there's this little cable here, and you just pry it apart and pull on it and it'll come loose. It's a little bit tricky at first, but you'll get the hang of it. Once that's disconnected, the front speakers will pull away and you can get to work. This unit has two belts. A main drive belt for the cassette deck and another smaller drive belt for the tape counter, and I suspected that these were the issues. The belts needed to be replaced, things needed to be lubricated again, and then it would work just like brand new, because the seller that sold this to me said it had been sitting in a closet for 30 years, just not doing anything, and it's like brand new. So to get at the tape counter, you're going to need to remove these screws here to remove this little plate. And once you've done that, the plate will pop off and then you can gain access to the belt. In order to get the cassette mechanism out, you'll see all of these, they're kind of like pink or red screws. You'll need to remove, I think there was 3 of these. Once those are removed, the cassette deck will just pop out of place. You can kind of wiggle it back and forth and pull it out. Well, but don't be too eager to remove the cassette deck once you've unscrewed those 3 screws, because it is still attached by 2 cables, and you want to be careful not to break them. The one cable that's on the right side underneath is really, really fragile, and I think that's the power that goes to the cassette deck, and I accidentally broke off one of the little wires, and I had to kind of solder it back in. Pain in the ass. It was a real kind of tricky to get it back together, but I managed to do that at least. But, So here you can see this is what the cassette deck will look like once you've unscrewed it. Of course, I'm pointing to that's one of the cables that you'll need to pop open, and again, you just need to kind of pry it out of there. Just be careful, because it is kind of fragile. I was really quite surprised when I got into this unit. It's really almost spotless, and I expected it to be full of dust and stuff that has gotten inside over the years from just kind of sitting around, but no, it's really actually kind of clean. This is that other cable that I was talking about that you need to pry out, and it's kind of tricky and very, very delicate. Those little wires right there are very fragile, so do not break them. because if you do break them, you're going to have a hard time getting them back soldered, down to the thing, and without them connected, you get noise in your audio. So now that the cassette deck is fully removed, here's a look at all of the insides. If you're one of those people that enjoys looking at all the little circuitry and everything, take a little pause to look at it. These are the speakers that they have on the unit, and they're actually pretty nice speakers for their size. You can see here that they're 2.5 ohms, 3 watts apiece. I also noticed that there was a sticker on the inside of here, so if you'd like to take a look at that, you can just pause the video momentarily. But let's get this, the front of the unit out of the way so that we can get working on that cassette deck. All right, well, here it is. This is the cassette mechanism, fully removed, and we can now begin to disassemble it a little bit further in order to get at the main belt. You can see the tape counter belt right there, and that's easily replaced. I'm going to need to remove this back panel here in order to get at that main belt and to be able to pull it out. But you can definitely see here that belt is really stretched. I mean, thankfully it's not disintegrated, because if it was disintegrated, it would be that goopy mess, and that's just a whole nother project I really don't want to get into. But thankfully, we could just easily remove it. Here's another look at that belt inside, just from a different angle. I was trying to capture exactly the path of the belt so that way I could, get a new one and easily reroute the belt back into its original position. So you have these 4 screws that are right here on this back plate. This just holds the giant silver wheels in place. I want to say these are flywheels, but I think they're drive wheels, actually. I don't know. It's where the belts go around the, to drive the cassette. Anyway, you just remove these few screws, and then this plate will pop off. You're going to have to remove that tape as well, to disconnect it from the wire, and that allows you to get at the main belt. This teardown was actually a lot easier than some cassette decks I've tried to do repairs on. I was quite shocked at how easy this was. Now you're going to notice these little tan things on the spindle or axle of the wheels. Do not lose those, and be careful, because there is a little black washer underneath of those, and you're going to see me putting it back on here. Do not lose these, because it's real easy for them to fly off and get lost. I almost lost them. And you'll need those in order for the cassette deck to function properly. So I managed to pick up these belts from a local place called A-High Computers and Electronics in Norwood, Ohio. They do all kinds of electronic repair. Super friendly place. I highly recommend them if you're ever in the area and you need parts for something, or to even have them repair something. They were friendly enough to even give me tips and to tell me where to put all the oil and how to route the belt. And most places would be like, I'm not telling you that. You need to send it into me and pay me hundreds of dollars to do it myself. But I guess their mentality is that they would rather help me out, and in return they're going to get some kind of business. Whereas if they were to say, oh no, you need to send it in to us and have us do it, they'd tell me some, ridiculous price, and I'd go, what? I can't afford that. So they'd rather have some business than no business at all. And that's a great business philosophy. So you can see I've got the belts back in and everything. They're routed, and fantastic, because, I didn't expect I was going to make it this far. And here I'm just going to put a little drop of oil on some of the spindles and stuff, just kind of lubricate everything, because it can kind of gum up after sitting for 30 or more years. Now it's time to put on the belt for the little tape counter, and yeah, really, I didn't need to replace it, but I figured since I'm in the machine, I might as well replace it. That way I don't have to come back into the machine for hopefully at least 10 years or more. So now all I should have to do is reassemble the unit, and everything should work properly, or at least, fingers crossed, everything works properly. But I thought, why not plug it in and test it out before reassembling everything, just to make sure that there's not something I need to adjust. So, I thought, well, let's plug it in, press play, and hope for the best. And to my amazement, everything sprang to life. The tape reel started moving, and sound came out of the speakers, and it was even at the right speed and everything. So take a listen. So now that everything seemed to be functioning again, I was like, great, now all I have to do is reassemble it. And when I mean functioning, yes, I could press play and it would play tapes and everything. The fast forward though, and the rewind, it was the rewind, that had like kind of a clicking in it, and I think the gear wasn't meshing up correctly or whatnot. I still haven't figured out a fix for that. Maybe I just need to go back inside, but everything was beginning to come back to life, and, you know, I think a little while of playing it and it'll just be perfectly fine and back to normal. And while I was in there, I figured I would use some deoxit, or as we call it here in the States, contact cleaner, and spray it in all of the potentiometers and just kind of give them a few twists back and forth, just to make sure that they were making good contact and all the crackles and stuff were gone out of them. Hopefully this would fix the tone control, because like I said before, the tone control didn't really seem to do much of anything when I turned it back and forth. Unfortunately, this didn't seem to have any effect on the tone control. It seems that the tone control doesn't work, and then there are sometimes you'll turn it and you'll be like, wait, did I hear it change slightly? There's like a slight difference, but most of the time it doesn't do anything, and I'm just kind of puzzled as to what to do to fix the tone control at this point. So, giving it one last checkup before putting it back together, just to make sure that no anomalies have happened and make sure everything is working, you know, and as it should. So take a listen. So that tape I was just playing unfortunately didn't make it through this repair process, and the machine ate the tape because it needed to work itself out. After playing a few tapes through, it's now functioning better than ever. It's almost like brand new, although the tone control still doesn't work, and when I'm using the rewind, it does make that kind of clicking noise, although it does rewind and everything else functions just as it should.
Catch a good time. Sunday, we're mostly cloudy and snow will develop late night into Monday. 6 to 10 inches of snow is what we're looking at right now. It's subject to change. The high temperature on Monday is 24. That winter storm watch begins at 7 in the evening. From your severe weather station, I'm 9 First Warning meteorologist Sherry Hughes, News Radio 700 WLW.
Right now, we have 24 degrees in Cincinnati. Latest on the coronavirus. First, Kentucky.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this boombox repair. You know, I'm quite happy with the results, although I would like to get rid of that clicking in the rewind. I think it's just a gear that's not meshing correctly, or, you know, it's kind of skipping or whatnot. I would also like to fix that tone control and figure out why it just doesn't function like it should, although I've never had one of these units before, so maybe the tone control never really did much of anything to begin with. I can't really say. I did want to give a big shout out to Mary Grecrew, and I hope I'm pronouncing that name correct. She's an eBay seller, and she's the one that sold me this unit, and originally the listing said that the unit was completely fully functional. The tape deck worked, the radio worked, everything on it worked. And, you know, with these units, after sitting around for 30 plus years, because she said it had just been sitting in her closet for about 30 years, so, and she didn't seem to have a whole lot of knowledge on boomboxes or electronics, so she claimed that it worked, and when I got it, the cassette deck didn't work at all. I pressed play, and I got nothing, just some whirring from the motors, which I figured, you know, it's belts. These things are quite fragile, so when you ship them through, whether it's the post office or UPS or any of these, any kind of vibrations or, rough handling, they're very susceptible to damage. So I'm not putting any blame on her, but I just wanted to say thank you so much, because the customer service that she gave me was absolutely phenomenal. She was super concerned when I told her that the unit came damaged. She tried everything in her power to get the UPS to reimburse her. She even went above and beyond and partially refunded me for all the hassle that I had to go through. And, I think we came to a good conclusion and a good, compromise, because the money she refunded me helped me to buy the parts and to help pay for all the time it took me to repair this thing. It took me about a whole Saturday afternoon, probably 3 or 4 hours of work. And, now I've got a functioning boombox. She's got a customer that's super thrilled and happy. And I'm recommending that you go check out her eBay store and see if she has any cool items for you to buy. I'll put a link down in the description to her eBay store. Since I was able to get this unit fully functioning, I think I'm going to display it in my YouTube studio and museum. And from time to time, I'll pull it out and use it, because it's bad for these things to just sit around and never be used. And, I get enjoyment out of listening to some of my boom boxes and stuff. Another big thank you goes out to the seller of this unit. Definitely go on over and check out her eBay page, link in the description down below. I think that's going to do it for now. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another episode of Try This.